Okay, good morning everyone. I show 0700. My name is Paul Carlos, Incident Management Team 1 Plan Section Chief Trainee, and this is the operational briefing for the west zone of the Dixie incident for September 7th, 2021. If I get everybody to mute their phones, take any sidebar conversations outside of the briefing area, I'd appreciate it. We'll start off with incident situation with night ops.
Good morning, Magnus Johnson, Incident Management Team 1 Night Operations. So, we've been talking about the winds down there coming off the escarpment and all that, usually 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, it decides now that time change for it. It's been doing it last night and the night before at 8:30 to midnight. So as we go around the horn, you guys notice it's drier and warmer this morning. You got a little sunshine, so every time that happens, fire picks up. Over in the Branch 9 area, up and into Little Dyer, we had stuff picking up. Interior, but it is showing itself. It is showing to the public that is back in there, so we're getting more calls of service. So we go up into Branch 13. They're busy in there trying to go direct on that and close that thing off between Raker and Badger and Prospect. They've got a lot of work. They've been doing a lot of good work in there, and they're going to continue that work. As we slide around into Branch 16 in the Lassen sector in Quebec and Romeo yesterday, they had it stand up because of clear air, and the fire moved forward towards 44. We had to close 44 for a brief time yesterday, so because of the potential impact to that. It is reopened. We slide down through the Westwood sector, down into the Janesville branch and the Junction branch. Yesterday, it was behaving itself and staying up on the slope, and then it decided that it would make a 90-degree turn and make a hard push down on the 395. It went across, so everyone's aware, it went across 10-blade wide dozer line like it wasn't even there, and then came to the 395 and threw a few spots across the other side. Everything was picked up. Everybody did a really good job, organized and clean, no injuries, no problems. That's your situation for the evening.
Okay, there have been no changes to your management control objectives. You can refer to the 202 in your IAP. Weather.
Morning, Ben Bardas. So today's going to be another day of high pressure here over the fire, which means another hot, dry day. So looking at temperatures kind of leveling out. Maybe a degree or two cooler, but overall expect mid to upper 80s up in areas of terrain around the fire, and then maybe some low 90s down in the valleys. RH looking down around 10% or so in the afternoon, that general area. The big thing is, again, to note those winds. We're just going to have a lot of terrain-driven winds at the surface, especially on the north side of the fire, where we have all these little creeks and drainages and slopes. Each drainage or slope is going to have its own wind pattern, so you're just going to have a heads up wherever you go on the fire. With this high pressure, we don't really have like a very strong prevailing wind, so all those local effects are really what's going to be in play. I will note that we will have that southwest push on ridge tops again today, especially on the south and west side of the fire. A change in the forecast though for the transport winds. I was looking at some more data right before the brief, and I think we'll have more of a southerly south-southwest push with those transport winds. So if you see some columns starting to go up, they should be pushing in a more northerly direction. That's also what's clearing the smoke out of here and giving us a little more sunshine to get air moving around a little bit. Now that we have a little bit of a stronger transport wind aloft, that'll help push some smoke out, but do expect some smoke in valleys, especially on the north side of the fire. That's all I've got.
Fire behavior.
Good morning, Don Watt with Fire Behavior. So as you heard, we have that clean air. Once it clears up, we do expect that fire behavior to increase. It starts warming the fuels early, so you get that solar heating on them. Also, no humidity recovery overnight, another warm day. As Imett said, a lot of the terrain will detect where the wind goes. So there's a lot of those drainages and peaks where it wants to funnel through. So the big thing is make sure wherever you're working today, you're taking that time to look at what the weather's doing for you. It may have changes in the wind direction just in a short period on your line. So just take that time, observe the weather, and see what it's doing. Increase activity throughout the day. With that sun, it'll start burning early in the burn period. With the low humidities, it'll stay active into the night, especially since we're not expecting a whole lot of humidity recovery. So spotting is still going to be an issue, especially up in Division Papa, Quebec, Romeo. There's always that potential. We're starting to see more and more potential as the humidity does not recover over a long period of time. It's going to take multiple days to gain that back if we start seeing humidity recovery. So just keep a heads up. Make sure you're looking out in the green and keep an eye out for those. Other thing is those pockets will continue to burn interior. If you do see anything stand up, as it gets higher, if the column builds, which I don't expect to see today, especially with the high pressure, remember your spotting distance increase. Right now, everything should be short range, should be short. And then also, we've been talking about it for days. If this stays clear out here, you can expect a stronger wind coming down the escarpment. We also have a high pressure sitting out off to the Great Basin, which is warm in that area, and that's going to create some battling winds in that valley. So you might see some more cross-slope winds than what you're expecting until it transitions to a downslope wind. Have a safe shift.
Operational work assignments, operations.
Good morning, Mike Wink here. I just want to remind everybody that this briefing is for not only the folks sitting up front, but you folks way in the back. You wave at me, way in the back. That's why I talk extra loud, so everybody in the very back can hear what's going on today, what your assignment is, what's going to be happening, listen to those hazards. All right? Out here in Branch 9, no changes. Continue to do tactical patrol. There's still calls for service out here. Make sure everything stays within the lines. As we get up here into Branch 13, they're really trying to work on this Hat Creek drainage, okay? Gave them some extra engines, some extra crews today to try to get some more boots on the ground to turn this corner. We got to keep it off of Raker Peak, keep it off of Badger, keep it in the box right in here. We don't want it to get out of that Hat Creek drainage. You folks, a critical piece today, some extra resources. I know you're going to do everything you can. We got the right leadership in the right place. We got a good briefing. We got a good plan. That's your work assignment today in 13. Continue the fuels reduction efforts on all those secondary contingency egress and ingress of values at risk up here in the Shasta sector. Don't stop doing everything you're doing. Look for opportunities to improve that just in case. That's why they're called secondary contingency lines, okay? Critical piece to hold this in here, but we have additional plans. Go back and look at those lines. See if you can do anything to improve them just in case we need them in the future. Coming around here into the Lassen sector, branch 16. You heard Night Ops talk about they had a spot outside the Westwood Hall Road next to 44, within 1,000 feet of the road. They made a good call to go ahead and close the road because it was in the grass and had the wind on it. Luckily, in the grass, it was very receptive to the fire control efforts of the aircraft, the helicopters, the ground resources they got over there. They got it stopped, okay? We're going to have the fire train out here again today. We're looking at options to fill water tenders off the fire train to get that water tender turnaround faster. There's a lot of mop up to do out here for multiple days with limited resources, going on 10 days. This piece that I've been holding on the west side of 44 has spotted to the east, to the north, to the south, continues to do that. So when you're out in this piece, watch your 6, okay? You're in there mopping up, watch behind you, something you might see black smoke, be looking to reflect to that. Your job is not to get ready, your job is to be ready. Make sure you have everything in place, have your pace, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency plans to make sure we hold this piece, okay? So good efforts out there today, got a good plan. Make sure we hold that. Let's get down here into the Highway 36 corridor, continuing calls for service. Things are still smoking along in there. You expect the public to be in there calling us. Now, down here in the Janesville branch area, you heard Night Ops talk about a lot of stuff going on in there today, over the last night and yesterday. Continue to be a lot today. We're working in the east zone. As a reminder, everybody down here in the Milford area and the Junction group, make sure you're scanning Command 30, you're scanning the east zone air-to-ground command, air-to-ground TAC. It's really important that we know what's going on because we're working over here in Papa, Oscar in the big picture, working with the East Zone. So you heard the overnight and you heard the weather folks talk about how the fire, it was backing down to the road. Historically, 2 to 3 in the afternoon is when we expect the winds to come off the escarpment. We're in this very unusual weather pattern. That hasn't been the case. So it's confused between 8 and midnight. Now it's had these battling winds along here. So it has come down to the dozer line and down to the highway from basically the Valero station almost all the way down to the Beckworth burn scar. So while that's good, we also have to hold all that, and then we got to continue to work from the fire's edge where they're holding it with helicopters and retardant all the way back to the dozer line. As a reminder, this shift is the one for multiple days. For example, they came off the Black Mountain repeater site with 24,000 feet of hose on a dozer and worked it all the way down with 1.5 inch and laterals, trying to hold that piece so that if we have to go to the bigger box, there's line on there, okay? Those folks who did that, 2271, 2251, and the local Simpson dozer out there, they get the award for there is no can't, there's try harder. Okay, that was a really difficult assignment. 7 people took that on, said we're gonna make that happen. So great job to you guys. We need to continue those same types of efforts today. Again, one more assignment in here. The mobile retardant base is set up here in Herlong. Ground application of retardant around all the values at risk from the fire's edge all the way to the motorcycle track. Out of your vehicles, not using spray bars, using hoses, ground application around everything that's everything to those folks, around their shops, barns, horse corrals, their houses, the driveways, anything you can to try to make sure that if we have to go to this bigger box, that we've done everything we can to prep all this. You heard at Winneplace a 10 blade wide dozer line. Well, if there's make sure everything's at least 10 blades wide out there. And then as we continue to work with East Zone operations, they may look at sending some hotshot crews out here either tonight or tomorrow in the coming days and cut this piece off direct right there where that Valero station is. But we have multiple options. We got to see what happens today. I'm going to leave you with just a reminder. Your job is to be ready, not get ready. Thank you.
Sector, branch, and divisional roll call. Resources.
Good morning, everyone. Jordan Weber, Resource Unit Leader, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. If you'll join me on page 2 of your IAP, the ICS 203, as we have some changes. Starting with our sector, branch, and division roll call. When you hear your name, please stand. In the Shasta sector, Fields. Here. Branch 9, Smith. Here. Division Juliet. This is a change. Ibarra. Here. Division Lima. This is another change. Riley. Branch 13, our last change, Wills. Here. Trainee, English. Here. Division November, Oscar, and Papa leadership is briefing in the field. Shasta contingency, Stornetta. Here. For the Lassen sector, Prather. Here. Branch 16, Felix. Lang, trainee. Morning. Division Quebec, Rivers. Here. Division Romeo, Swope. Division Sierra, Shalhoub. Here. Lassen contingency, Turman. Here. Trainee, Cooper. Here. Westwood sector, Irma Garrett. Here. Westwood group, Hunter. Here. Janesville branch, Pack. Here. Milford group, Grendal. Here. Antelope group, Garcia. Here. Junction group, Frederick. Here. Lassen fire suppression repair, Hauser. Here. Thank you and have a safe day.
Air operations.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. Your lineup for today, fixed wing. We have air attack, ASM, 2 S2s, and 1 LAT. For rotor wing, we have 14 Type 1 water droppers and 3 Type 2s. We also have 2 UAS modules to support your operation. And then Guard 841 is our 24-hour ALS hoist. Continue to do a good job of monitoring air-to-ground command for divisions and above. Air-to-ground TAC is for all of you out there, and make sure you clear the drop zones. Super important for your safety. We want to see you guys come back tomorrow and the next day. Make it a safe shift.
Communications.
Good morning, Prince Wilkinson, Carmel trainee. Today's Tuesday, September 7th, there's no new clones. I repeat, no new clones today. In today's IEP, you will locate your 205 for the West Zone on page 41 and 42. For the East Zone, it's on page 43. Make sure that your 205 is matching your 204 as far as the frequencies and line assignments. And if you're building a command group within your radios, make sure you're using the clone for the incident. You have better luck as far as bringing over the tone and frequencies. If you have any questions or concern, be sure to stop by by the communication unit. And if you're experiencing any type of interference as far as frequencies, be sure to let the comm unit know. With that, have a safe day.
Medical.
Good morning, Race Wickless, Medical Unit Leader. Today your 206 can be found on page 45. To start, we have any in-camp medical needs, supplies, or as well as COVID testing. Please come see CalMat located to your left in these 4 brown tents here. We have line medics out on the line to support you guys in your operations today in branch 13 and 16, as well as the ambulance staging locations can be found in box 6. As always, there are 3 places you can find the line emergency procedures. First is the lower half of your 206, and then secondly, the laminated cards we've been handing out every day. You can pick those up at the table where you picked up your IEP, and also page 118 and 119 of your IRPG. Make sure everybody on your crew knows that information and where to get it. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Safety.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Brad Niven with Safety. So I want to speak to a couple of things today. Number one is communications. For you guys that are out there on the line leadership, please make sure that you're using the full resource identifier, whether you're the section, the branch, the group, the division, you're a resource out on the line. Use your full identifier, so we don't want there to be any confusion. There very well could be several different Charlies out there with the resource identifiers that are very similar. Use your full resource identifier. Let's not let that be any kind of confusion and cause an incident. Next, I want to speak to a specific group of people that are out there, and that's our out-of-state resources that are here. Maybe you've been to California before, maybe you haven't. I can guarantee you probably haven't worked on an incident of this complexity and this size. If you have any questions, you're unsure on tactics or terminology, talk to your line leadership. Trailer right over there on the side. There's a reason why on this team, Air Ops, Operations, and Safety are in the same trailer. We're there for you guys. We're there to support you guys. Come ask those questions. Have a good day.
Information.
Good morning, Natasha Fouts, Public Information Officer. If you'd like to join me on page 54 of the IAP, I have some updated numbers for you. The fire is currently 917,579 acres. We're at 59% containment. Our total personnel is 4,673. At the top of the page, you'll find our media hotline. If you come across media on the line, give us a call at that number and we'll do our best to get a PIO out to you. Please make sure you're adhering to the CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service social media policy. For more information, you can scan the QR codes. If you have any photographs or videos of the incident that you'd like to share on your own social media, please bring it over to the PIO trailer so we can vet those for you. Or if you have photos and videos that you'd like to share with us, there's an email address. We're still accepting packages, and the address for the incident base is below. You can pick up packages as well as lost and found at the front trailer. That's up by Weed Wash and Fuel. And tonight we'll be having our virtual community meeting at 7 p.m. That'll be live streamed on the CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1's YouTube page, as well as LNU's Facebook page. Thank you and have a safe shift.
Final comments, Unified IC.
Good morning, Brandon Gunn, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. First, I want to start by saying a little thank you to our law enforcement partners. Every time this fire moves, every time it burns across a control line or moves into a new area, our law enforcement partners are planning those evacuation warnings and orders. They're also shutting down highways. A lot of work goes into that. After this briefing, we have more than 3 meetings this morning just to decide if people get back into a warning or an order area or how that goes down. So a lot of work's going on behind the scenes, and I just want to say a quick thank you for that. Second, I want to talk about last night's firefighting effort. We got a call last night about the fire, like Operations said, blown across 10 blades wide dozer line going across the highway. And in my mind, we're thinking, okay, how many thousands of acres did this thing push out did anybody get injured? Did anything happen, after that story? And it wasn't anything about that. It was the fire sheeted across 10 blade wide dozer line, ran across a highway, and it's a non-issue. We picked it up. So I just want to say thank you for your strong firefighting efforts out there. Thank you for being safe, and thank you for always having a positive attitude. Have a good shift.
The next operational briefing is tomorrow morning, 0700, same location. You find your breakouts along the perimeter of the briefing area. Any unassigned resources tie in with our resources folk at the back table where you were given IEPs. Thank you and have a safe shift.